Hello, everybody. It's Steve Olson, WSO reporter. It is February 9th, 2016. All I have to say today, guys, are things are getting quite serious. I woke up this morning sensing that something has changed. I talked to a couple of my spirit-filled Christian brother comrades, if you will, and everybody is saying right now that things are just something's wrong, something's changing. So let's talk about what's current here. The first thing is I would say that the ISS images are saying it all. This, of course, is a manipulated image. It's where you know, one of those basic settings where you can just set it in a crazy way, but it basically outlines these objects. And what I wanted to kind of point out was these four objects. We need to take a look at this a little bit closer, and that's what we're going to do today. But this is starting to get very disconcerting, very, very serious. So, everybody's asking me, when do you think this thing's coming in? And I'm just going to tell you the time is getting short. And the question is, how short? And I'm just going to say short. Time is short, man, before things are going to get changed. And then before I move on, I also want to just remind you to send your testimonies and videos to Steve Olson. Most, if not all, of the pictures today you're going to see are actually from subscribers. So, hope you enjoy. Let's get this out of the way for a second. Let's go to Mark Anthony Reed, our telescope guy from down under. He basically has caught this image from his telescope that shows these kind of four objects, and I just wanted to remind you of the photo that I was just looking at, and if you'll notice, we have a corroboration in terms of the shape of the four objects. So again, it's just getting very close, these objects to the Earth. Pretty intense stuff. And again, he has different angles. But another thing that was interesting about the Mark Reed telescopic photo is that he's also catching the red iron oxide ugly cloud that also is part of this system, which is also pretty ominous and sobering, quite frankly. I'd like to point you out to a couple of things that are indicating that the seismic activity obviously is increasing. Just go to USGS, you'll see it. We're having a series of above 6.0 earthquakes, but it's these volcanoes that haven't been rumbling for a while that are rumbling now are the ones that got me going. This is a rare video. Go ahead and take a look at that one yourself. This is the one that I was interested in. This is a 540-year dormant volcano. Interesting number if you listen to Gil Brizard. I'd also like to point you out to Shill Killer. He has been taking a very close look at these images with actual and more analysis, more analysis than I have time to get into. So please take a look at Shill and his site, and I have a link below. Also, Mount St. Helens on the 8th was struck by some seismic unrest. We never like to see Mount St. Helens blow. Anybody that's old enough to remember the last time she blew her lid. Here's a Daily Star article. You can start to see that they're leaking it out into the press now that we are probably going to run into a 3-day of darkness. And if you've been following my channel or other Nibiru channels, you'll find out that we already knew that we were going to face days of darkness, either from the cloud or from a planet obfuscating the sun, or all the above. Here's a recent Cape Hatteras photo. Just look. This is the ocean flooding into Cape Hatteras. By the way, I went and looked at my handy-dandy Farmer's Almanac, and they should have a plus or minus 1 foot on their tides. So this is very unusual that they would get this kind of a inflow of water. Again, I have the link below. And it just filled the streets there. This one is wild, from a guy named Matthew Brown. Check this out. If I'm going to try to blow this up and try to look... I'm going to put this back about 3 seconds here and blow it up and watch. An object seems to be passing behind the moon at a high rate of speed. And what's interesting about that is that's the rate of speed that a lot of people are saying that the relative orbit of the Nemesis system is also operating at. Take a look. This is the Jason A channel, but I just wanted to take a look at just a couple of the first frame of this and go take a look at it yourself.
Michiganders may have seen something extraordinary Monday night. A fireball meteor streaking across the sky. It's pretty violent this time. Really shook the house. A man living in St. James sitting up.
And then if you've been watching the news, we saw that a student was killed in India recently by a meteor strike, and now we're starting to see more and more of the fireballs show up. And then before we get off the net, I just wanted to show you real-time moon glow observatory. Again, this is the time of day to go look at moon glow in Missouri. If you look at the same relative time in England and Norfolk, you can even get a better picture of this. If you want to look at the sky cams in Brazil, look at those in the morning U.S. time, like Central Time. And if you want to see this phenomenon in Australia, look at the Australia all sky cams in the evening time, Central Time, United States. But here we go again. This time we're starting to see some pretty interesting big objects as this stuff gets clearer and clearer. And you can see this. You can see this kind of what I think is a refraction from the back of the sun. But still, nonetheless, a representation of what's out there coming towards us, and so forth. So we can see that all going down, man. That's real time right there. And then you got this big balloon back here, which I think is a plume, which is being caused by the reaction between the sun and Nemesis. That's been my theory. I haven't heard anybody that can really dispute it too much. Now let's go to the user or the subscriber photo section, and let's see here. Where do we go? All right, let's start out with, this is just a weird photograph we got the other day, and again, you're going to see everything. This could just be a helicopter, but somebody thought it might have been a UFO, whatever. Sometimes you get bad. Oh, that one's from my wife. This is Wallerberg in Germany, and again, this is the dust actually, I think, actually hitting the atmosphere, and in certain places we're going to see this, I think. That was that image that we were talking about with the ISS before. This is New York City, and we're starting to see these, these, what could be a flare, but this is the familiar shape of the large and small orbs that we think are some kind of a pair of stars. Another picture of the ISS. This one is cool because it actually shows the dimensionality and the 3D effect of these planetary objects coming towards the Earth. Very interesting. Now, this is what's really shocking. This is from today, from one of the subscribers who's becoming a good friend of mine. We actually think that this may have been some kind of a plasma discharge between planets, because if you'll remember, looking back at this one, we have the planets around, and we would expect there to be electrical discharge between planets if they get this close, and sure enough, here we are starting to see some of that phenomenon. And here's just the same image, but just in a kind of a black and white monotone image, and you can see this. We're concerned that that might be some kind of a plasma discharge between objects, not from the sun. It doesn't look like it emanated from the sun. Just another kind of representation of it, kind of just to show that it's kind of it's different than the flare, it's different than the other stuff. And there might be some information in the flare too, right? Again, just showing the different angles of this stuff. It's just blowing our minds, the folks that are helping me get this stuff. So don't mind it if I keep showing ISS image, but it's just amazing that they're showing this to us. Now check this out. Remember the triangle we were talking about in South Davis Station? Doesn't that look like a triangle starting to form in the sky there? And since I'm looking at a sunset, I believe, sunrise, I'm sorry, if I'm looking to the east, then that would be in the north. Interesting though, but just look at that, and then it's got that kind of familiar sundog above it too. Weird. These are just the many people from like around the world that are sending me photos of their red sunsets. Now everybody says, "Oh, red sunsets are always red." Go find me 5 pictures from 1990, anywhere in the 1990s, where they're this red. And we know better, man. Cognitive dissonance is a very nasty thing, my friend. It is the thing that you can see the facts right in front of your face and not see them, just because it shatters your belief system. And I'm sorry I'm shattering your belief system, but we're being basically trailed by or being run down by another solar system that's crossing through ours. Here's the blue planet. They say there's a blue planet as part of this. This is a pretty cool picture of it from a subscriber. This one, check this out. Now you see this ring. We've been seeing this familiar kind of ring. This is in northern England, by the way. Watch this. Look at this. There's like some kind of a, almost like the winged planet, and kind of corroborates with the ISS images showing the same thing. And here's just another picture of it. It's just amazing, this stuff that's coming from around the world. And again, this is because we collaborate. Now we're able to, pull together better evidence as a team. This is the Daily Weather Station. I have a link below. You can go look at any sunrise. And right now in England, we're actually seeing 2 spots now. And this one's got a spot and a little one. And again, that's that familiar what we think is to be some kind of a star or dwarf with maybe a neutron star following around. We don't know, but the point is that we've got this strange imagery now coming off of we've seen the black dot a lot, but to see two black dots, that's getting weird. And then this just came to me today. This is, I think, out of Fayetteville, Arkansas, and this is just a good image taken from an iPad where we actually are starting to see the other objects too from the ground. Here's just this is from Massachusetts. This is the sunrise right after they had that sunfall or snowfall there, that heavy snowfall a couple days ago. It just cleared the sky of all material. It was just clear, and this is what the world would look like if they didn't chemtrail, guys. This is what we'd be seeing every day if they did not chemtrail. This is what our world would look like, in my opinion. And then we've got this, kind of chemtrailing, big aura around the sun kind of thing happening everywhere in the world. I'm pretty sure that's a flare. Not sure. Mostly sure that it's a flare, though. And then Grumpy Moose. So here's Grumpy Moose, and we're starting to see the blue object pretty clearly from Grumpy Moose and other objects that just should not be there. Kind of weird. And then finally, this is an ISS image. This is kind of real time. Freaked somebody out because actually a craft passed by the ISS, and they only caught the last frame in the picture, and that's what some weird craft went by the ISS. I'm not sure if anything was scheduled. This is Maryland again. The red. I mean, this is just not. This is from the iron oxide, you guys. I mean, come on, Here's a webcams to Mexico where we seem to be getting the reflected view of this object quite often from these cams. And then here's finally another picture of this aposty or whatever they call this thing with the lights all over it again, with chemtrailers going around it. And then finally I have this Savannah skies. This is from last night. I just took a quick screenshot, as you can see. But look at all the activity on color and everything going on. Here's that plume that we talk about. Here's what's emanating the plume, I believe, is the star. Here's the little teeny one that I think is orbiting around it, and then here are other objects manifesting themselves as they get closer to the Earth. So this is just from South Africa at nighttime. He was able to get almost a blood red sky because he was actually seeing a clear view, but apparently they weren't chemtrailing down there. Here's some more from England where we were actually, this is the guy that had sent me the pictures of the thing, and just more and more and more pictures just keep just coming in from different. Now when you see these sundogs, I want you to take a look up close at them. Right, when you come up close to it, that's not a rainbow, man. It should be a rainbow. It should be like blue and red and orange, you know what I mean, all the colors. It's only red and orange. Think about that for a second. Why would a sundog only be like one shade of color? Just unbelievable. This is another example. Now, from far away, you'll just think, your brain says that's a rainbow, but it's not a rainbow, man. Look, it's only one basic palette of color. There's no red, there's no purple, there's no blue in here. It's just all red. Think about that when you see these sundogs. They're not sundogs. They're covering up the. And then here's our triangle, triangle like in a kind of just a little bit of a manipulated form. You can actually see it. Kind of weird. And that's it. So I just wanted to show you what was going on today, give you an update on all the different things that are happening around the world. We're going to try to do a live show on Wednesday night, so stay, kind of be aware of any new invites for that. And I really wish you the best, and I pray for you every day. I hope you pray for me too. Bye-bye.